Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the Word of God and how we shouldn't clickbait it. Rather, how we should keep it simple in terms of how it's preached in churches or even spread online. We shouldn't take away from the Word through the means that we use to share it. We'll be reading from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 2. Rather, we have renounced secret and shameful ways. We do not use deception, nor do we distort the word of God. On the contrary, by setting forth the truth plainly, we commend ourselves to everyone's conscience in the sight of God. So this is pretty simple in the sense that the word of God is what it is. It doesn't change. And I believe that a mistake a lot of us make is the means through which we spread it, especially with social media. Nowadays, we even see pastors in church almost preach their own lives rather than preaching the word. And I believe that the intention is not always bad. It's just that they don't necessarily pay as much attention as they should to what they do. And this caught my attention because when you look at different churches from different countries, the word is passed down differently. It's taught differently, and you can almost identify the people's culture, the people's own beliefs in the way that the word is spread. And again, I don't believe that the intention is to distort, but whether it's your intention to distort it or not, it is distorted. And as leaders of churches, you need to disassociate yourself from what you're teaching. Same goes with people that are online. Your feelings don't matter when it comes to spreading the word itself. When you teach something, you obviously use examples to illustrate what you're teaching. In class, for example, let's take a math class. You might have equations with letters and X, Y's, and Z's and whatever. And to illustrate, the teacher might use apples to help you count. But he's just using the apples to illustrate what is there, to simplify the learning process. So in that sense, I'm not saying that you cannot teach. No, the point is to teach the word, and depending on the context, you can use real life examples to illustrate what you're teaching. A lot of what we're seeing is the personalization of the word itself. Because someone is living in a specific way, now they're twisting it, and that's what they're teaching others. It's one thing if you just keep it to yourself. We're obviously not perfect, and I believe that there are times where we all, to some extent, almost pick and choose what we want to believe or not, and that can depend on what we're going through. If you're going through a high or if you're going through a low, there can be a time where you do something or maybe you sin because in that moment you justified whatever you were doing by what you were going through and whatever. Listen, that happens to all of us. I'm not saying that it's good, but it happens to all of us. So that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm just talking about people that spread the word of God. If you have the responsibility to do so, you need to take it very seriously. Even if you're someone like me that's just spreading it on social media, you need to make sure that you're not distorting what you're saying by personalizing it for yourself, because the danger is that that personalization, you're now giving it off to someone else. Someone else that may have come to actually learn the Word of God. And now it's a mix of the Word and your own life. And again, the distinction that has to be made in between maybe using your life to illustrate and making your life, making your situation part of the Word. And that is very dangerous. The second issue is the means through which the Word is spread. Now, on a normal day and for some normal content, you can use clickbait, you can use things to catch and grab people's attention. I mean, I don't necessarily do much of that. If you look at my content, it's very simple. Whether it's the faith content or the sports or health content, it's very simple. I try not to clickbait or whatever. But one thing I believe people shouldn't clickbait at all is the Word of God. And we see this a lot on Instagram. For example, when you have people that say, oh, if you scroll on this video, you don't love Jesus, or if you don't comment this, you don't love Jesus, or whatever. And that's absolutely ridiculous, because that's not true. It's just a video. You should give the people the message. Whoever is willing to receive will receive. Whoever wants to pass by will pass. You have done your job, which is give people the message. Now, again, the intention behind it probably isn't bad. And I'm sure that 90% of people that do this, that practice this kind of thing, don't have bad intentions. They're just trying to get more people to receive the Word. But the problem is that the way you position yourself and the position in which you put people that receive the message can change how it's received. Because doing that, for example, can instill fear in people, making them believe that, oh, if they don't actually watch this reel, or if they don't watch this video, something's wrong with them. And that's not true. So why say something or do something that's just not true just to garner attention? That's just ridiculous. In certain contexts, maybe, some of these could fly. Sure, God has a message for you. Cool. But, even some titles that you see flying around on the net are a little bit dubious, because it's just not true. Even if your intention is not bad, the title that you have there is not true. You might be garnering more attention. You might be spreading the word more. But is that how the word should be perceived? Should it be perceived as something that we can market? Is the word itself not enough that we have to clickbait in order to make it more attractive? And this is exactly why we have this Mickey type of Christianity nowadays, because we try to make it all smooth, all funny, just clickbaity, markety kind of thing. And like I said, the danger is that because the means through which it's being spread is clickbaity, is just all over the place, well, that's exactly how people now perceive the Word of God. That's exactly how people now make a business out of it. The Word of God itself should be enough. If you want to clickbait things that are just normal, listen, you're making a video about football, you're doing like a crazy challenge or whatever, cool. But it shouldn't get to a point where the way you're spreading the word affects the message, affects how it's being perceived, and just affects the weight it carries. Because if you're just coating the word with all this clickbait, all these, things that are just not necessary, that's exactly how it will be perceived. that's exactly how it will be received. It will be received as all these extra things that aren't even the word itself. So all I'm asking is for us to be more mindful. And I'm saying this for myself. I'm saying this for any other content creator that shares the word. And I'm even saying this for pastors. Because nowadays, we see a lot of things happening. Pastors that pay more attention to the cameras filming in church because they want to have a viral moment. And this is exactly how these things happen. Like I said, I don't believe that the intention behind something going wrong is bad, but it goes wrong because our attention is not where it's meant to be. It should simply be on sharing the word as it is, not going viral, because virality comes with doing whatever people want to see. And usually people don't necessarily want to see or want to hear the truth plainly. Like 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 2 tells us. On the contrary, by setting forth the truth plainly, we commend ourselves to everyone's conscience in the sight of God. And that is exactly where we go wrong. By trying to do right, we still end up doing wrong. So this is not a video that I'm doing to rustle anybody's feathers, but it's a video to bring awareness to the dangers of adapting and using worldly methods to the word of God, to spread the word of God, and how that can actually take away from what you're initially trying to teach and what you're initially trying to spread. Whoever is meant to receive it will receive it. Let's just focus on giving it as plain as it comes. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something from this. Learn to discern. Catch you guys next time.